Hello one and all, Jasper here, and if you're subbed to my channel, then there's a good chance you're aware of my Iron Throwdown series. But the thing is, I only ever pair characters from A Song of Ice and Fire against one another. But what if I were to extend my reach a bit and pair characters from other franchises? Groundbreaking, I know, but it sounds like it could be a lot of fun. So how about we compare Game of Thrones to the only fantasy franchise that you could argue is of a higher quality? What? No, Disney pulled the plug on that a decade ago. Nah, I prefer swords and sandals to wimpy wizards. Love the books, but the movies are shit, and I don't have a lot of faith in the show that's coming out. Oh god. Let's stop wasting everyone's time and show the obvious answer. There we go, The Lord of the Rings, based on a book series that pretty much created the fantasy genre and has 3 movies that I consider to not only be the greatest trilogy ever made, but also a fantastic adaptation. Now that we have the 2 franchises though, what 2 characters? Well, obviously it makes sense to go over probably the most popular face-off between the 2, Jaime Lannister versus Aragorn.
Has anyone ever told you you're as boring as you are ugly?
Indeed.
Jaime wins, end of the discussion. Good night, everybody. What? Who are you?
I'm Joe from the YouTube channel The BROTHERHOOD, and I am... Are you really doing this?
Doing what?
That whole, who are you? I've never seen you before bit that died off back in 2016. Most of your audience are grown men. This seems very misplaced.
Okay, listen here. Back then was when YouTube was at its height of entertainment, when creators were being fun and putting some actual effort into their videos, not all these bullshit, lazy podcasts.
I am not even going to talk about how much of a hypocrite that makes you sound, but be honest with me. This is because you're a failed actor, isn't it?
If you want that new art for your Canadian Crusader, you better change that tune of yours real fast.
I am Joe from the YouTube channel The BROTHERHOOD, here to make sure a movie casual like yourself does not besmirch or poorly represents the great works of J.R.R. Tolkien.
I take great offense to that accurate statement, but come on, this is an open and shut case. George R.R. Martin himself said that Jaime would destroy Aragorn in a fight, so there really isn't a reason to go that deep into it.
Ah yes, clearly no biases from the murder clause over there, being the creator of Jaime Lannister and all.
Okay. We can go into a bit more if you wish. But no offense, I have a standard when it comes to my YouTube videos, so I'm going to need you to update your look a little bit.
Huh. You know, you're an a-hole, but your artist has good work. Does this mean I can now ignore your dumb script? Alright, I get the picture! Jeez!
Great, let's start with experience then. Jaime Lannister might be a bit younger than Aragorn, but I doubt he has quite the same accomplishments. Jaime, when he was just 13 years old, won his first melee tourney, despite facing off against men who were likely twice his age and size. But it only gets better from here. Just 2 years later, he would get his first taste of true battle and face off against the KINGSWOOD Brotherhood, saving his own instructor during the event and trading steel with experienced killers. He was knighted by none other than Arthur Dayne after the event, a man who is considered to be the greatest of any Kingsguard, an organization that is nearing 300 years old, and in the same year Jaime was knighted, he was also appointed to the Kingsguard, making him the youngest to ever be named. I could stop,
But I'm not done yet!
as we jump ahead to the War of the Five Kings. Jaime is manhandling everyone he comes across. He smashes the River Lords in the Battle of the Golden Tooth, and continues on to defeat them under the walls of Riverrun, their own capital. Even in defeat, Jaime shows how amazing he is when Robb Stark descends on him in the Battle of the Whispering Wood. He fights tooth and nail, cutting his way through the Northern soldiers and several of Robb Stark's personal bodyguard. The only reason he survived was because Jaime's sword got stuck in one of their throats. That's a solid 20 years of kicking ass. A glorified park ranger won't be able to compare.
Where to start? Aragorn Elessar is a 6'6" mass of muscle masquerading as a ranger in the north of Middle-earth. He is 87 years old, but biologically, according to the nature of Middle-earth, closer to his 40s. He is noted for being the greatest of all the Rangers, a group of folk who fight alone, typically the wilderness, and live outdoors fighting monsters and beasts, darkened by the Witch King Sauron, with Aragorn being their greatest member and the most well-traveled guy, all of Arda.
Okay, so maybe Aragorn technically has about 3 times the amount of experience, with him being surprisingly old. I wonder what his skincare routine is. Either way, no way he can compete with Jaime in a physical sense. My badass lion was knocking down grown men when he didn't even have any hair on his chest. And even if Aragorn was somehow stronger, it wouldn't even matter. Jaime could best characters that could bench press Aragorn, such as Gregor Clegane, who is nicknamed the Mountain, a 9-foot-tall medieval strongman that eclipses anything that ever existed in our own world. Throw on top that he has the endurance to put modern machinery to shame, as the reason he was stopped killing was because the previously mentioned sword getting stuck, not from getting out of breath from slaughtering a dozen soldiers.
You won't be surprised. Aragorn has several impressive feats of strength. Yet at one point in the story, hits an orc's captain's helm so hard it splinters into pieces. The Two Towers, Book 3, Chapter 7, Helm's Deep sees him break an orc's shield with such might and speed that his blow is compared to a lightning strike. And The Fellowship of the Ring, Book 2, Chapter 4, A Journey in the Dark has him strike with his sword faster than a warg, a type of enhanced demonic wolf. That's essentially a direwolf that goes around carrying orcs all day. And Aragorn is able to snap his sword out of its scabbard and slit its throat before it can blink. Is more that Aragorn, the Great Battle of the Pelennor Fields, is noted for going in unscathed and leaving in the same condition. This after days of hard marching and fighting. After confronting some pretty psychotic, oath-breaking ghosts, the battle in question being the same that claimed the life of Theoden King, and saw such great warriors such as Éowyn, Éomer, Merry the Hobbit, and others struggle, and in some cases take some pretty heavy hits.
Really? You're claiming Merry is a great warrior? The fool of a took?
He's a brandy buck, and he's better than you!
Oi!
That's not all. In terms of speed, he moves so swiftly, the same scene where he's compared to lightning, he dodges dozens of arrows, only to hew down most of those in front of him, while smashing through a shield wall single-handedly, causing the archers to just pack it in, those who aren't slain. In total, they only got 1 shot from their bows, with the furthest ones from him getting 2 before they fled. He's also got senses that allow him to hear a sword being drawn in his sleep. Has better hearing than even Legolas the elf, such as when he hears a few seconds before him owls howling in the distance, and it matches his superhuman sight. Something weird is going on with his speed, endurance, and strength on top of being well coordinated for someone who's 6'6" or so.
Okay, so small advantage in regards to physical capabilities. But what good is that when you can't even take a hit? Unlike your secret king, Jaime actually wears armor. Golden plate armor to be specific, and don't let the color fool you. It's only coated in gold. Underneath, it's proper steel, so no dinky sword is going to get through to him. Speaking of, his own blade will make quick work of any lighter clad ranger. Widow's Wail, a Valyrian steel blade. It's lighter, stronger, and holds a far sharper edge than anything you can make with steel.
Doesn't he get that sword after his hand is cut off? Is Aragorn facing one-handed Jaime or two-handed Jaime?
You see,
Plus, he only gets that sword in the show. In the books, he's still using just a plain steel longsword.
Listen, this is my channel, so my rules. If we ever make something on your channel, then you can decide what happens, alright?
Whatever. Guess it's fine for you to cheat. You're gonna need it after all. Aragorn's choice of weapon is obviously going to be Anduril, a blade that was used to cut the fingers of Sauron off.
Oh, come on. How great can that sword be? It was broken when Sauron accidentally stepped on it. Is it made out of paper mache?
Oh, come on. There's no way you can be this dense. Sauron is a Maiar.
A what?
Maiar are primordial spirits.
So he's a ghost?
Oh, dear God. Wait, God! He is like an angel. Think of him as literally Satan.
Ah, gotcha. Continue.
Anyway, even then, Sauron only was able to break it because he was juiced up on the power of the One Ring. After the sword was reforged, it was made so that it was even more durable. Easily the most powerful sword in the world. It also has a little sister called Angrist that was able to cut the Dark Lord's helm.
It cut Sauron's helmet?
No! Elcor! The real Dark Lord who makes Sauron look like a pansy.
Whatever. So he has a super cool magic bullshit sword. What armor does he wear?
You wore some chainmail at the Battle of Helm's Deep?
That's it? Just chainmail? Wasn't made of mithril or anything?
Nope, just regular chainmail. Oh, and some steel-toed boots. Don't forget about those.
Ha! Checkmate. Jaime's longsword could easily penetrate such armor with a strong thrust, so Jaime gets the advantage in durability.
Fine, Jaime can have this one advantage in regard to armor. However, Aragorn has the advantage in experience, strength, speed, skill, weapons. Not to mention his sword is capable of cutting up beings that are pretty much demigods. But I don't think that plate mail is going to do him much good.
But Jaime is really good.
Jasper!
Okay. I admit, when you delve into it a bit and realize that Aragorn is a superhuman with a magic sword on top of living far longer than your average man, it seems obvious that he wins this handily. Thank you, Joe, for accepting my invite to help me make this video.
I thought you weren't supposed to know who I was.
Fuck off. It's the end of the video. He made doing research on this video far easier with his experience in Lord of the Rings. If you like him here, then please check out his YouTube channel called The Brothers of Kern. There will be a link down below.
All who wish to F off with me, hurry up and subscribe over on our channel. Oh, and don't forget to do it on this one too.
And with that, everyone who is watching, stay safe and have a good night.